Hello, today I'm joined by my guest Nelly Barova from Art Vision. Nelly, how are you doing?
Hello, David. I'm very well, thank you.
I don't want to date this recording, but currently both of us sat in sweltering heat. So when we watch this back in the winter, it's a reminder of how life used to be,
Yes.
right?
And we're not in Spain.
Nelly, thanks for joining me once again. Our discussions always center around sort of digital marketing and the brand and presentation of an agent. And the discussions always come back to the website because it's assumed that every business in the country is going to have a website and it's going to be that first port of call. And in the old days, we used to see websites, I suppose, as an extension almost of it's like a digital business card. It was just our credentials online. This is how you contact me. But your websites and many others do a lot much more than just give a contact number. And for an estate agent, obviously this is the key. If our clients, as we imagine they are doing a little bit of research on us before they call us out to value their houses, I suppose what they see on the website is going to inform their view of what kind of agent we are and what kind of service we offer. But there are more than just one website. So I'm going to hand over to you to tell us how many they are.
Yes, thank you very much, David. This is a very interesting topic because I think a lot of agents are not actually aware that there are different types of websites. In this video, I hope I will share some further information so that it can make it a little bit easier for a lot of agents to take the right decision when they are choosing a supplier and choosing the type of websites they can purchase. There are actually three different types of websites. Probably the most common and used style website is a template website. And what I mean by a template website is where a provider spends a bit of time to actually create a website in a form of a template, and then they sell this template to several agents. So the template looks exactly the same. The difference between one agent's website and another agent's website is usually things like the logo, the text. So it will be obviously unique text that is applicable for the agent. And possibly colors, maybe even the font type. But the sites are pretty much looking the same. So the template style websites, I think probably 90% of estate agents out there are commissioning providers from the template websites. Usually the the CRM providers are the ones that are offering templated websites. The second style websites are called personalized. I will explain a little bit more in a second what they are. And then, of course, the third one, also another popular option, which is bespoke websites. And bespoke websites are the ones where you start from scratch. And usually it is the slightly bigger agencies, so say 10 branches or bigger than that would prefer a bespoke website because they will have some unique requirements that can only be achieved from a bespoke website.
And Nelly, can I ask you, is the working assumption of most agents who prefer, say, a template website or opt for that, in as much as that it's a tried and tested quality, it's already something that is quite functional. They can see it working because other people have been using it and they get to sort of personalize it with their own brand identity as such, but it is out of the box working effectively.
Yes, correct. I mean, there are a few advantages of a template website. First of all, I think probably the most attractive proposition is the cost, right? It is the cheapest option available. And the reason why it's the cheapest is because it's also the quickest one to put together. The website is already in place. So if you think of it from a point of view of the provider of the websites, they invest the time once to build that template. If they sell it 10 times, 20 times, or 50 times, for them, it's pure profit afterwards. It is basically actually a very profitable proposition. And especially for the likes of the CRM providers, where their core offering is the CRM, it's not the website. The website is an extension to their core offer. Therefore, they want to offer that almost as a perk to keep everything in one place. So the price is quite attractive. Another perk is obviously the time. It can be put together fairly quickly. So if one wants a website within a week or 2 weeks, it can happen with a templated website. Now, some agents don't have the ability to visualize things. And so a template website, when obviously you're given a choice between 5, 6, 7 different options, you can quickly see which one you like the most. So that's another advantage, is you can actually see immediately what your website is going to look like before you commit to buying it. So that could be seen as an advantage as well, especially if you don't have the vision for something different. Now, of course, there are a lot of negatives from a template website. And I think this is where a lot of agents are not aware of how much that impacts their business. And for me, the biggest negative is the fact that the template websites are not good for marketing. So if you are a startup, if you are a small agent that do not care about ranking, about marketing, about bringing new leads from local vendors and landlords, and you just want something quick and cheap to put your brand up there, then a template website could be the perfect solution. However, if you're a growing agency, if you're an established agency, if you're an agency that wants more instructions, the template website would absolutely kill your ability to put together good marketing campaigns. And why is that? Well, first of all, because they're not planned for marketing. They're planned to be quick to put together and
so
cheap.
they're sort of more static. They're not as dynamic in terms of
Well, they could be dynamic. They're still going to fetch the properties, for example, from a feed. They might have moving elements, but everything is pre-planned to appeal to a wider audience. So when you pre-plan a website to work for 100 or 200 different estate agencies, you can't possibly think marketing or think the customer or think the marketing campaign that it's meant to fulfill. You are trying to tick a lot of boxes with one style template.
Yeah.
So when we talk about ranking, template websites are not necessarily easy to optimize, because for proper optimization, there have to be ability to change certain things. And we, as a marketing company, we do have clients that have websites built by templates, and they are, for us, the hardest websites to work with. Because every time we want to make a change that will impact our marketing campaign, we're either greeted by a no, that can't be done, or it takes a very long time, or it costs a lot of money for that change to be implemented, because the website is not designed to be changed.
Right.
Changes such as copy is easy, but I'm talking about other type of changes that are more technical changes that cannot happen in a template website. So for me, the fact that you might be spending £500 or £1,000 to set up a new website, it is not necessarily a saving, when that means later on you are taking away your ability to bring new business. Because if you are losing thousands of pounds worth of business because you didn't invest in a better website, the saving you've made is negligible. Yeah. If at all, a good solution. So I would say anyone who is looking to attract more traffic, more inquiries, more instructions from their website, they need to invest into a better website than a template website.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of progressing them beyond the template website, you gave us another couple of options there. One was personalized and one was bespoke. And so I'm cheating a bit because I've asked you this question off camera, so I kind of know where we're going with this. But instantly, I think anybody watching this who goes, well, what's then the difference between personalized and bespoke?
Yes, very good question. So I'll explain what bespoke is, because that's the easier answer, and then I'll dive into the personalized one. So A bespoke one is obviously something that is built specifically for the client, and it's from scratch. In a true sense, bespoke. There are a lot of providers out there that say they sell bespoke websites, but it's not really bespoke. They still start from something they've already got in place. So that means that they will take a brief, they will spec the website, they will then design all the different pages in various different formats. And once that's approved, they will then progress to development. So again, there are pros and cons with that approach. First of all, the pros is that those websites typically are much better designed. They are planned for the needs of the agency. And this is why usually the bigger agencies will invest in something like this, because they have unique requirements that a template website will never meet. And obviously, if it's put together correctly, they are better for marketing, they're better for ranking, they're better for converting as well.
And it's truly one of a kind.
And it's truly one of a kind. Yeah. So, you know, if you want to be a bit more unique, to stand out, bespoke is your route to market. Now, of course, the negatives of a bespoke is that it is the most expensive form of a website out there. It takes the longest to put together, and therefore it costs the most. So this isn't for agents that are looking for a cheaper solution. You know, here you're easily talking £10,000 and plus, more,
yeah,
for a good, well-designed bespoke website. So again, I would, you know, if you have 2, 3, 4 branches or more, and you want something unique and you have the budget in place, then that's a very good route to take. And of course, there is the one in between. So the personalized approach is something that is a bit like a hybrid between a template and a bespoke. So it is not a template in a sense that you don't select a template that's already put in place. But at the same time, it's not truly bespoke in that you know the company is not starting from scratch. There are a lot of the technical elements already in place. So we at our division offer a personalized approach to web design. We don't offer templates and we don't offer bespoke. We used to be a bespoke website provider, and 4 years ago, as COVID kicked in, we decided to actually create our own product, which allows us to build sites a lot quicker. And the reason why is because we wanted to have a website that is very well put together from a marketing point of view, but without the cost implications of a bespoke website, which was making it a lot harder for a lot of agents to access. So for us, a personalized approach is the back end, the technical functionality is about 70% there. And we spend our time with the front end. So this is why it's personalized. So a bit like a bespoke approach where we will still take the brief, we will go to design, we will approve the design with the client, we'll then apply this design into the website. A lot of the heavy lifting is already in place in terms of functionality. Because we've been building our product for over 4 years now, I would argue that actually this is now becoming an even better proposition than a bespoke website, because for anyone to build what we already have in place will take them 4 years, because this is what it's taken us.
Well, but two things there. I think, you know, in terms of, so I'm, as an estate agent over many years, built many websites with many different providers. I've done bespoke, I've done templates, I've done, you name it, we've done it. But that process of giving birth to this new website, getting it online, it can be nerve-wracking, because you are somewhere between what you had as an old website, and then when you start to go live with the new one, if it's totally bespoke, it may look beautiful, it might have new functionality, but let's face it, it's also an untested quality, so it's gonna have bugs. And who gets to test that? Well, you do as the customer, and your customers do as well. So you'll say, yeah, you know, you may find that a customer calls and says, well, I've tried booking a valuation and it's taken me all the way to the end, but it won't let me do the final thing, or whatever it is. And so we as agents then have to sort of almost go through that beta testing hand in hand with the developer. To me, it would give me a load of reassurance to know that actually we're not starting from scratch. The engine behind this site is perfect. It's been tested and it's been used before.
Absolutely. And this is actually an angle I didn't think about, but you're absolutely right, is that a bespoke website, it takes months of coding and then also weeks, sometimes months of testing. Depends on how complicated it is, how big it is. You're absolutely right. Well, there's something that is already in place and it's been tested. And this also goes, it's relevant to when we talk about different devices. Because a lot of websites might look really good on a desktop, but they're not properly tested on a mobile or a desktop device, because every different device adds extra time to the development of a site as well. So yes, our personalized approach is definitely the best of both in a way, because we are much quicker in putting websites together. Hence, there is a cost saving as well. So they cost a lot less than a bespoke website. At the same time, they're not limiting in the same way the templates are. So any changes can be applied and a lot faster as well. Marketing wise, those websites rank exceptionally well. We outrank some of the bigger websites out there, like the likes of Foxtons, for example. We have clients that, you know, with 1-2 branch agencies are outranking, you know, the big sites like that.
And ranking in itself, when it comes to SEO and everything else these days, is recording on its own. And we've looked at that previously. I'm sure we'll come back to it in the end, but you can't afford to be complacent for these things, because how you are ranked determines how people find you, how quick your website is, how responsive it is. These are things that we never used to have to worry about. You just had to throw it onto the web and hope for the best.
Absolutely. I have a lot of agents who come and say, well, I don't really need a website because I get all my leads from the portals. And that's true if all you're after is buyers and tenants. But you absolutely need a website when you want to attract landlords and vendors or investors, because the portals are not necessarily the right place for a landlord or investor to find an agent. And still, today, you know, if I am a landlord and I have a property somewhere that is not down the road from my house, the way to find a new letting agency is to Google. And to be fair, if I'm looking to sell my house, I would most likely start by Googling to see who are the agents in my area to decide who I'm going to contact. So ranking is crucial if you're looking to attract new instructions. It's not a case of, oh, well, I don't really need a website. You must have a website. You can get away without a branch on your high street, but you can't get away without a website anymore. And so this is where the difference is between an agent that is attracting more of those valuation requests and one that doesn't. So if your website is ranking on the first page, if you are investing in things like paid ads, obviously your social media content marketing, email marketing, those are the agents that will get the highest percentage of inquiries and instructions versus the ones that are purchasing cheap and cheerful template websites that literally work as an online brochure.
Yeah. So there's a big difference.
Yeah.
But to those agencies that are sort of contemplating planning and I think you need to get to the stage, you said it was sort of, you know, 10 plus branches or something in order to get to the point where you can justify the expense, if you like, of a bespoke website.
Yeah.
But it's a labor of love, isn't it? You have to have a vision for what you want to achieve, because it's a bespoke website, you need to come to the table with, we've always wanted, almost like a shopping list of, we've always wanted a website that does X, Y, and Z. But I suppose also coming back then to the personalized websites which you offer, the beauty is I can sit there with you and you can show me examples of things that are already working for other people.
Yeah.
So I don't need to be the creative lead on it. You guys can do that for me, but you can also give me some of that substance to go off.
Yes, absolutely. The way I'm seeing the personalized approach is a bit like Lego bricks. All the different elements are already in place. So the difference is how you put the Lego bricks together. So what goes first, second, third, fourth, in order to then put together your pages. While as with a template approach, the pages are already put in place. While as bespoke, on the other hand, you have to invent those elements. You have to come up with, well, actually, I want this or I want that. And like you say, you have to spec it, design it, build it, test it. In our case, we can showcase those bricks or those elements that are already in place. And the difference for us between one website and another is how those elements look. So the personalization is about colors, fonts, positioning of the elements, whether the text is aligned to the left, to the right, center, you know, whether it's on a particular background box or not, what kind of images we use, etc. So we are, in a way, competing with the bespoke websites. And a lot of our websites, you will not know that it's not fully bespoke. That's the beauty of it, that you can actually push it to a point where you would question, is that a bespoke website or not? For me, the most important thing from all of this is that an agent can have a website that is marketing ready, that can actually compete with a much bigger players out there, with bespoke websites, with websites that are properly optimized and properly put together, and actually attract a lot more business for a fraction of the cost than building it from scratch. That's where, you know, the opportunities with this sort of approach.
And there's an economy, isn't there, really, in sort of getting that done up, getting that work done up front. So if it's already properly optimized, you don't then need to spend a lot of money on additional advertising, getting traffic to the point that you then are ranked higher because your website is almost designed and ready to go. Because in the old days, we used to talk about pay-per-click, and you would have to put all your money into sort of Google ads in order to get any kind of coverage on it. You can achieve a lot of that just by making sure that it's optimized and ready to go.
Yes and no would be my answer to that, and that will be down to how strong the domain authority of the state agency website is at the moment. So if you are a new agency, or you've been running for 6 months or 12 months and you have no credibility, Google is not going to put you straight onto page one just because you have a new, well-optimized website and you're up against agents that have been around for a long time and have much stronger authority. So authority is something we talk about, and authority is built by creating external links. So those are other websites linking to you, which then, in a way, in Google's eye, it's like a vote of confidence. So if you are an established estate agency with a rubbish templated website, and we take that and we turn it into a properly optimized website, we immediately see results. We immediately see improvement in ranking, improvement in traffic, improvement in conversions. So that's why this approach works exceptionally well for established businesses. So if you're already with a very good local reputation, but you haven't quite invested in your digital assets, that would make a massive difference. And we have so many clients that we've proven that with.
We've had, I know we're probably getting more into the micro of what makes up these websites, but we've had discussions before on I know you're an avid fan of the traffic that blog content that is properly, when I say optimized, what I mean by that is it's got a very clear call to action and it's got a point to it. You're a big fan, and we've had discussions about how blog content can actually generate leads for people rather than just, you know, create search terms for them. It can actually be an active business driver. I know that you've used it as an active business driver.
Yep.
Give us a little bit of that, because one of my questions would be, well, you know, you talked about Lego and people putting these building blocks together. Yeah. So I'm assuming that in the old days when we were planning a website, everybody wanted to have an instant valuation tool. Everybody wanted to have, you know, a blog section somewhere. Are these still essential parts of the Jenga stack or the actual Lego?
I would say yes. And again, so for us, I talk a lot about persona-driven marketing. And the approach to persona-driven marketing is about personalizing the experience of the type of customers you're looking to attract. So in a very simplistic way, let's talk about landlords and vendors. So if a landlord comes to your website and consumes your content, then your website needs to be tailored to the needs of that landlord. So then if we're talking about instant valuation, my question would be, would landlords like to do an instant valuation as a call to action? Is that the right call to action for a landlord? On the other hand, for a vendor, that works really well. We still run a lot of campaigns with instant valuation landing pages in order to attract potential local vendors, but this can only work properly if it's connected to an email nurture system as well, because we're finding with a lot of our clients, more than 90% of those instant valuation leads are not hot leads, they're cold leads. And so they require further nurturing so that over a longer period of time, they're converted, or some of them are converted. So really all of those building blocks, they need to be planned with the persona in mind. So what are the right calls to action for the type of customers you're looking to attract? And then you put your building blocks accordingly. So blogs are probably, for us, for our division, is one of the best ways we generate leads. So if you Google now, go and Google anything to do with estate agents and digital marketing, and web design, it will most likely be one of our blogs that is ranking. We're the most ranked digital marketing agency in the estate agency sector. And one of the reasons for that is because we've invested years in content creation. And here I'm not talking about content that you just put together with AI or put together in 5 minutes, or you're commenting on the local market and expect that all of a sudden you'll be inundated with inquiries. Those are topics that are planned with that persona in mind. So again, going back to persona-driven marketing, the key here is not about thinking of what I want as an agent, how many awards have I won, and shouting about me, but turning it about the customer you're looking to attract, thinking about what it is they want to see, and turning it about them. So blogging is all about them. What is it that a landlord would want to read? What keeps them up at night? Is it tenant not paying rent? Is it labor changing the rules, and therefore that will impact how landlords perceive things, and etc. What is it that one can write about that can resonate with the type of customers you're looking to attract, but on top of it, that already has search volume? So for us, the key here is to select topics that resonate with the persona and have search volume in one, so that we get the best of everything.
Catchy and timely. So Nelly, we've spoken about the obvious advantages of the off-the-shelf website, if you like, the template website, being it's quick and it's easy to sort of get it up there. We know that bespoke is a labor of love and it's going to take many months, and the lead time on that can, and until you've got something that you can be proud of and that you want to put out there, can be a long time. And then this personalized option in the middle seems to sort of take the best of both worlds. But what does it look like when it comes to timing?
Yeah, a website can take anything from 4 weeks to 6 weeks, depends on how complicated it is. Obviously, the more pages they are, if copy needs to be written, this is what generally prolongs the timing. But between 4 to 6 weeks is a reasonable time, turnaround time, if you like. The way that compares to a bespoke website, bespoke will be a minimum of 3 to 4 months. It won't be any less than that. And of course, a templated website probably can be within 2 weeks. So again, it is kind of in the middle in terms of timing as well.
It's still not a bad amount of time, is it really? So if we started planning a website today to be up online and sort of ready for customers in 6 weeks' time, that it doesn't sound like an inordinate amount of time. When you look at then cost, I know it's hard to sort of give a specific figure for these things, but how does it compare? I mean, we spoke about bespoke websites being no less than sort of £10,000, and we know that some of the, I mean, sometimes I see some of the deals on those template websites, and I wonder even if they're if they work. But where do we sit with the personalized options?
Yeah, so we start from just shy of £2,000 for setup. And we have a monthly fee as well, which covers support, maintenance, license fees, and hosting. So that monthly fee starts from £165 per month. So how does that compare? I know that there are, like you say, template websites that you can buy for £500. Monthly fees again vary from provider to provider, depending on how simple the website is and what's included in the packages. Many of our direct competitors that I would class as decent web providers, they would also start roughly at about the £2,000 mark for a template website as well. So we are very similarly priced in that sense. We have a lot of different add-ons, which is what can add up to a higher fee, and the add-ons are very much down to what the agent would like to add, of course, to the website. So the more things you load, the more Lego bricks you want to add to the website, the more time it will take us to put together, and obviously the more it will cost. I would say on average with us, a one branch agency could spend between £2,000 and £5,000. Slightly bigger agencies would be between £5,000 and £10,000. This is generally where we sit in terms of pricing for setup. And our monthly fee, of course, also will vary depending on, bigger sites will require more bandwidth. They will require more of our time from a support and maintenance point of view. So the price will go up.
But that's quite important, isn't it? You can't afford necessarily to scrimp and save on sort of bandwidth and hosting, because these modern websites are data hungry, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. And you need a fast server as well, not to go with the cheapest £5 server that obviously you have lots and lots of other websites hosted on. Of course, that will mean that the site is not going to be fast to load as well. But yeah, for me, website is a business investment, and it should be looked at as an investment, not a cost, because the return from a good website, the one that ranks, one that brings inquiries, is far greater than a cost. You will get your money back in no time. Usually with clients, when we increase the traffic and the inquiries, it could take 2-3 months before they make their money back from new business, and then everything after that is more than what they've had before. So that is a very insignificant fee to pay in a way for a website that will generate you business. Agents pay significantly more for rent for their offices that hardly get anyone visiting nowadays. Well, as the website is obviously, we have clients, 1-2 branch agencies with 100,000 visitors per month. So the number of branches is not necessarily what drives a volume of traffic. It's marketing. So if people are investing into more different marketing campaigns and driving more traffic, that traffic will obviously require more resource.
That's fantastic. So for anybody that's watching this and is thinking, well, look, and when I say anybody, every agent I know of is always thinking about what they should be doing with their website next. It's almost like it's one of those things that we put off doing sometimes because we know we need to do it in order to evolve. It's like changing the design of your boards or your logo. Every now and again, just a little bit of a facelift does wonders, and you get a bit of a bounce. But the website, these things move on so quickly these days digitally, that we need to kind of run to keep up with it. So I feel like I'm always planning a new website, because if you don't, you're going to fall behind at some point. But where's the best place for me to start if I'm an agent? Do I get you to look at what I've already got, or do I sit down and say, this is what I want, or do I look at what you've got? So where do we start with Art Division?
It's a very good question. The starting point really is to book a free 45-minute consultation where I would go through what it is that you currently have, and B, I will also show you options of what you could have if you want to have something better. It may be that you have a fantastic website and therefore you don't need to change it. Or it may be that the goals that you have is something that we can absolutely help with. So a conversation is probably the starting point to understand the goals, because the website is the vehicle. You wouldn't go to Silverstone with an old car. You need to have the right car to win the race. So the starting point is the goals. What goals have you got as an agency? And are your current assets helping you achieve those goals? If the answer is no, well, I'm not getting enough leads from my website. My website gets a lot of traffic, but it's not converting that traffic well enough. It's not connected with other third-party tools very well. It's not doing what I want it to do. It doesn't look as good anymore. I want it to appeal to, I don't know, wider audience, or I'm expanding into lettings and I was only doing sales, or I'm widening the areas that I cover. Those are great times for you to reconsider how you've set things up and whether you could do better.
It changes that narrative that you have with the public really as well. And you're right, if you're a business that only does sales and wants to do lettings, or I've seen businesses that only do lettings and want to branch out into sales, it's essential that you control that narrative, and it can be your best opportunity to get those very subtle messages across that you're not just a one-trick pony, that you can do other things, and more importantly, you understand what it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know any other opportunity. And I suppose it's a nice opportunity as well, because when the client lands on your website, you want them to go exploring. You want them to sort of feel like it's open to them to kind of choose the services that they want and learn a bit more about you.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you do that cleverly, all roads lead back to literally lead to leads. And you're going to make sure that everywhere they go on your website, it'll keep them where you want them to be. And that's in terms of business generation.
Absolutely. I mean, for us, we have created a proven formula of how to structure websites that generate leads. And our formula is split into two very simple kind of ways in. One is the core of the website. So those are your pages that talk about the services that the clients provide. But for us, less is more. We don't like to create a lot of pages. In fact, we want to create less. Where we invest more time is creating content that is for marketing purposes. So there's certain aspects of a website that needs to grow on a regular basis. And we've created all of those elements already in place that allow us to grow them so that more traffic. So the idea is that we bring more traffic to the website, and then we convert that traffic into inquiries. This is really why estate agents are out there, is to get the instructions to then bring the tenants and the buyers to the property. So the websites should really be the best lead generating tool there is, that brings them leads day in, day out, 24/7.
Well, you will find Nelly regularly quoted in the press. This is very much her wheelhouse, and I would highly recommend any agent to just spend that 45 minutes getting to know what it is that Nelly and Art Division can offer you in terms of revamping your digital marketing. And marketing is the buzzword, really, isn't it? Here, the website is a means to an end, but it's all about structuring those campaigns in the background. So very impressive stuff, and can I just say, really impressive results as well.
Thank you very much, David.
That are happening as well. So thank you very much, Nelly, for your time.
Yes, thank you, David, and thank you to everyone that watched and listened all the way to the end.
Thank you.